Yeah, I love it. Well, welcome everybody. We're so glad that you guys are here. Let me go ahead and just introduce what the Pro Spotlight is for any of you who have been hiding under a JobTread rock and don't know. Our Pro Spotlight is our opportunity to highlight some of our incredible JobTread users. And so that's what we're going to do today. My name is Casey Taylor. I'm a customer training specialist here at JobTread. Typically, you'll see me on any one of your trainings. We'll do crash courses. We actually just had a crash course. There's one going on right now. But you're going to see me in any one of our trainings that we do or some of the videos online. But what we're doing here today is we're actually, again, we're going to highlight one of our Connect conference presenters who presented this last January in Dallas at our Connect conference. And we have breakout sessions that are happening all throughout the 3 days of Connect, where you have the opportunity to learn from other users, really great things that they're utilizing the software for, great implementations that they're using for integrations. And so this is an opportunity for any who haven't had the opportunity to go to Connect to actually get to hear from some of these great presenters and to learn from some of the things that they had on offer at the Connect conference. And so we've asked them to come back. They were highly rated, highly regarded, and we asked them to come share to the broader JobTread audience, as well as to some of our external facing people who might be interested in JobTread. This will be available for other potential users to watch and be able to learn from how people are utilizing JobTread as well. And so what we're doing today is, again, just highlighting one of the individuals that makes up a part of what I believe is the biggest strength and asset that we have here at JobTread, and that is the incredible community of users that we have at JobTread. So we have things like our JobTread Pros Facebook group, we have our Connect conference, we have things like our Pro Spotlight, where you guys are just giving back to each other. You guys are encouraging one another, sharing best practices, sharing things that you've learned, in addition to our team here at JobTread. And so we're excited to host these and have an opportunity for you to get to hear from some of our great users, because we believe that that's what makes this construction project management software the best on the market here at JobTread. And so I want to introduce you to Dom Thompson. He is the president at Watershed Builders out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and we are excited to have him. He was actually Eric's guest on Builder Stories episode 94. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pop that into the chat for anyone who might be interested to go back and watch that at a later date. You're going to want to check that out. It's pretty great. And Watershed Builders as a company have been with us since February of 2023. And we're pumped to have them as a part of our JobTread family. And specifically, we're excited that Dom has agreed to join us today on the Pro Spotlight. And so before we jump into it and before I turn it over to him, I just want to kind of set some ground rules so that everybody feels comfortable about what it is that's happening here. So first and foremost, you guys are going to want to make comments. You're going to want to share your thoughts on the things that Dom shares with you. Those are all going to be reserved for the webinar chat. So any thoughts, anything that you just want to make a comment like, oh, I love that, way to go, Dom, you're going to want to put those into the meeting chat. If you have questions for Dom, make sure that you are populating those over in the Q&A, which is a completely separate text box section, and you'll pop those there, and then I will try to field any that might be just JobTread specific, not necessarily a question that he has to answer, but I will freeze and hold some questions for a Q&A time at the end of our Pro Spotlight for Dom to be able to answer those questions. So I'll kind of moderate that section. So if you do have questions, make sure that you populate those over there, and we'll give him a chance to answer those questions there at the end. Okay, so his presentation today is going to be called Bulletproof Your Company with Tasks, To-Dos, and More. So everybody, please give a warm and friendly JobTread welcome to today's Pro Spotlight guest, our presenter, Dom Thompson. Hey, Dom.
Hey, Casey, thank you guys so much. I appreciate, wow, just like people joining quite literally, not just all over the United States, but Canada and all over the world. That's insane. And if you're in the Philippines, send the lumpia. We love lumpia. Send it on. Let's go. Over in the South, we know all about that. So I'll get into my slideshow. As Casey said, yeah, I'm the president at Watershed Builders. We're a sort of a custom residential, primarily remodeling company. We are a subcontracted model company, and we work with subcontractors. We're not a design builder, and so we often work with architects and interior designers and that sort of thing in partnership with customers to get their projects completed. So I only throw that out there just so that if you're kind of like wondering, like, how can I relate to what's going on in Charlotte or what Dom's doing at Watershed and things we're going to share today. There may be some things that we're doing very similarly. And I want to say that I am by no means a JobTread expert. I would have said maybe in 2023 or maybe even in 2024, I would have maybe teed myself up as a bit of like the tip of the spear, at JobTread. But I know that y'all can agree that JobTread is innovating things so quickly that I cannot even keep up with like the features. So I'm not an expert. And the things that I'm going to share with you today are not groundbreaking necessarily in the way that we're utilizing JobTread. And I think that's perfectly okay. I think the point is that I'll share some things that might be able to help you scale your business, might be able to help you gain some more peace of mind, maybe extend some more delegation to your team, and help things run a little more smoothly at your business, and maybe give you less headaches. And my hope would be, because it is work for me, is that you'd be able to increase your work-life balance, maybe your quality of life, by not only maybe even directly implementing something that I share, but maybe even better than that is that you take an idea that I shared and figure out how to implement it in your own way, and put that to work. And so I'll look forward at the end, as mentioned, to hearing your ideas. I'm not necessarily the answer guy. I'm happy to share with you my experience, but I just as much look forward to hearing from you all as I look forward to sharing with you. So I'm going to share my slides, and I did discover in the review of my slides, these slides are from January, that already, as mentioned, JobTread has improved some things so much that one or two of my bullet points from the slides are irrelevant. And I'll point out what those are to you in a minute, but I'll still share with you what we've been using, so that you might be able to implement something like that of your own. So with that, if it's okay, I'll get into the slides. Is that
Yeah,
cool?
let me say one thing real quick as you're getting
Yeah.
that set up. For everyone who is curious, we always have the same question asked. I just want to go ahead and address it. This will be recorded. It will be available tomorrow. We'll have it put up and posted up in our JobTread Pros Facebook group. It'll be on our help desk, and then it'll also be on YouTube and our external facing side as well. So if you have questions about that, just know, yes, it will be recorded. You'll be able to watch it at a later date if for some reason you've got to check out. But all right, Dom, turn it over to you, brother.
Yep, good deal. And thank you again. And I have my chat notifications minimized. So if you're messaging me, I'm not looking at it because I'll get distracted. I'll get squirrel effect over here, and I'll get totally blindsided. So we'll just get right to it. So yes, who's this guy? This is me. And by now, I could add another kid to this mix. That's my daughter, Oak, my wife, LD, and me last Christmas. But we welcomed another girl into my house in March. So I now have a 6-month-old to add to that mix too. So let's see. Why am I here? I look forward to helping people in the construction industry simplify chaos and improve their quality of life, as I alluded to a moment ago. And I think there are ways that you'll be able to apply some of the things we talk about, whether it's anywhere in your process. And it doesn't matter what job title you hold. It doesn't matter if you're office admin type role in the company, if you're on operations side, project management, assistant project management, superintendent kind of thing, lead carpenter, all that sort of stuff, or if you're in sales, marketing, there are ways that you can use these features in every aspect of your business. So I think it applies to everyone. And then I think I only shared this last little bullet about recommended reading because some of what I'm going to share today came from this book, The Checklist Manifesto. It's one of the books on the shelf behind me. This was a book about how implementing checklists in the healthcare system has saved a lot of lives and kept people from making mistakes and hold people accountable. So that's a recommended read for you guys, especially after what I'll share today, because it's kind of the basis of some of the features that we're using in JobTread. This was a little bit more relevant in the room because I can do a raise of hands, so I'll skip that. But I am still interested. I'm interested to know, or really the question I'll pose for you is just for you to be considering, why are you here? Why are you on this webinar? Why did you sign up for JobTread? And maybe you didn't sign up for it. Maybe the owner of your company did. And but you're here for a reason. So I think it's important for us to all know, like, what's our why? Like, what are we wanting to get out of this experience so that we can remember that on hard days and so that we can maximize right? And I would encourage you to be thinking about right here at the beginning, what are the top headaches, the top one or two headaches that you have in your company, in your process. And I'll give you just a second to maybe jot those down. If you're a note taker, I'm a big note taker. So if you're doing that, go right ahead. The top two biggest headaches, because I'd love to know if something that we talked about today might be able to help you get rid of those headaches or reduce them. All right, so today we're going to talk about leveraging to-dos features. We're going to talk about the task features to be able to maximize accountability and scale your business. And there are some other features like purchase orders, bid requests, and a little bit of bonus content that we're going to get into as well. And I'm going to be flipping back and forth in and out of this slideshow. So forgive me for jumping around here, but I think it will make the most sense for me to share a bullet point and then go show you an example from my JobTread account and kind of go from there. So bear with me on that. On the to-do side, I'm going to share with you some to-do templates that we've set up in the sales and estimating aspect of our business, in the pre-construction phase and in the construction phase. And then over on the task and schedules, just the remodel build process, the template that we've got set up for our schedules that get uploaded to every project and then customized based on the needs of the project from there. And how you can even use the task or schedules template for onboarding employees or all sorts of ways. And I'll be interested at the end to hear what ideas, like I said, that you've had from being on this call today, ways that you can implement these things too. And the bonus content would, again, be things like purchase orders, billing schedules. This is one that at the time that I did this presentation earlier in the year, JobTread did not offer billing schedules. So we were doing this on an Excel spreadsheet. And I shared that with the group from the Connect conference, and I'm willing to share that. But it'd probably be more helpful for you to dig into the billing schedules features in JobTread, because that's what we're doing. And we've actually changed the way that we're doing billing schedules to simplify them so that we can use the JobTread feature now. So that's what we're doing now. For that, I have a design checklist I'll review with you guys that'll help keep people out of trouble. There's a cost update sheet. We could probably scratch that. I don't know that it's needed. So we'll skip that from the presentation. And then Loom. What is it? How do we use it? Etc. So to-dos, right? We created to-do templates for doing a few things. We want to maintain standards. We want to train new people and minimize mistakes. And we use that in the construction process in a couple different ways. This was actually just sort of a bullet point from my remodel process to do. So what we did was we went through our whole process from the start to finish. And as mentioned, we're primarily a renovation company. So there's a lot of preparation, there's deconstruction, demolition going on, and then there's reconstruction going on. And so this list works for us to be able to take a house apart and put it back together. But we basically took this apart, and maybe this is the right time to go ahead and share. This is ours from task templates, to-dos. Oh, excuse me, my remodel project schedule. Excuse me, to-do templates, my remodel process to-dos. So this is from the snippet that I was just showing you, but broken out. I basically click the drop down arrow, and I can show you what do we do and talk about in our pre-construction phase before we kick off a project, making sure that we have correct copy of plans on the job site, making sure we've taken photos of existing conditions, planning for interior protection and dust containment, porta-john locations, dumpster locations, framing materials, or, you guys get the picture here. So we have a checklist that we go through. And what happens is we upload this, and you can watch video and learn how to do this for yourself. But when you go into the catalog and you go into the to-do templates, you can literally create this from scratch and save it there. And then every time you sell a job, it can be uploaded as a to-do to that job. And then you can go and assign these groups to whoever on your team needs to knock these things out. So we have one of these for the pre-construction phase. We have one for the foundation work, demolition work, if anything needs to get saved, framing checklists, things to do with doors, windows, LSLs, all this type of stuff that's very unique to each phase of the job for our business. So I would encourage you to think about maybe if there's things in your business that are unique. And what this has done for us is streamlined, and it's it's allowed the project manager to not have to remove or to remember everything in their brain about the project, right? So if we have this set of checklists, the hope really is not that we have robotic project managers out there. And at our company, I call a superintendent a project manager. That's just what I call it. So that's an interchangeable term in my mind, but we're not trying to turn this into robotic stuff. But the hope would be that if the project manager is doing what they're supposed to do and they look at these checklists, then they see something on the list that reminds them, oh yeah, don't forget about such and such, and maybe we can prevent a mistake, or make sure that we're doing something the way that the company wants to do it, or that sort of thing. That's what we're using this for. We also have some to-do templates for, say, the sales process. So whenever a customer gets engaged in our pre-construction process, we start with this process from the beginning for sales, and this to-do template would get assigned to the salesperson, right? Making sure that we've hit key points in the discussions with them, in the consultation, making sure that you know how we're going to approach the meeting. And again, this isn't to create robotic sales experiences. This is just a reminder to the salesperson to say, hey, make sure you try and cover these things. And then after the fact, we might can go back and look at the to-do template and check these things off to make sure we covered these topics or sensitive questions that we need to make sure we ask a prospect when we're in that process of the selling the job, and try to get better, right? It's just a matter of improvement and trying to make sure that we're always that we're trying to do the same thing over and over and over. And this goes all the way pre-construction agreement, the ongoing process during the job. When we present the job, do we print it? Do we do a PDF? Asking for the sale. Yes, I have that as a checklist. Did we ask for the sale? That kind of stuff. So
Hey,
that's an
Tom, real
example of
quick,
how you might be able to do that.
are you showing your screen right now, your JobTread screen?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, they can't see your screen.
Yeah,
I
let's
think they're looking at
go.
the slideshow.
Cool. Thanks for letting me know. I had no idea.
Yeah, absolutely. They
Cool.
mentioned it, and I saw you moving your mouse around on that slide, so I didn't
Oh,
think.
thanks. I'll make sure
Yep.
to escape from the full screen. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, so I'm in catalog and to-do templates. So this is where my remodel process template lives. Some of these lists are more robust than others. Obviously, my framing checklist is pretty robust. Cabinets,
They still can't,
tile.
yeah, they still can't see your screen. You're gonna have to share your screen on Zoom and then pick that very specific window, that app window.
Sounds good. Let's go here. How about now?
Yeah, there it
All
is.
right, we're winning, dude. I'm okay at construction. I'm not good at presentations, obviously, online. Come see me at Connect in 2026, and we'll be up on the big screen. Uh, okay, so if we're good to go, thank you, Casey. Appreciate that. Yeah, our remodel process again. This is all just built in the to-dos template, so you can go in and create your own here. I was just trying to share that we have this remodel process here that can be as robust or as simple as you want it to be. The point is that it gets followed. And our sales process here that I was just talking about here, all this lives here. And then when we go and sell a job, you go to the jobs tab and you go over to the to-dos tab and you literally import this from a template, and you can assign these to whoever on your team you want to assign this to. The last to-do we have here is from our estimating process, from the first consultation to our pre-construction meeting, and then after the project is sold, sending purchase orders, creating any remaining progress bills that need to sit on a draft status, meeting with the project manager prior to our pre-construction meeting, things to order, stuff like that. The point is there's 1,000 different ways you can use these to-do templates for your business, for different people on your team, to help create accountability and to create just repeatability is all. We even created one for our own cabinet sign off. I mean, if you guys are remodelers or in custom at all in residential, you can relate to all the things that need to get signed off for cabinets. So you can get granular down to that level just to, again, make sure that you're doing those things. All right. So I'm going to go back over here to my PowerPoint. All right. So this was just some, are we seeing it? Casey, you good? making sure I got my training wheels on here.
Got it there. Yep, we're
Good
looking
deal.
for
Thank
your
you. So
presentation.
yeah,
Yep.
our estimating sales process. So tasks, like the actual building process. You can use this in a couple different ways. We obviously use it for our remodeling schedules, but you can also use it for training people. You can use it as a sales tool. There's all sorts of ways to do this. This looks, I'm just going to stay here because it's basically already here. If you're over here in the catalog, over here in the schedule templates, you can literally create a schedule for whatever you want to do. And kind of in JobTread, kind of the term schedule and tasks kind of live in the same, it's sort of an interchangeable term. They're being used in the software the same way. So if you have repeatable tasks or a repeatable process that gets done basically the same way every single time, whether again, that's in the office, if that's in estimating, sales, that sort of stuff, you can create a schedule template for that, for or a task template, and put that in there and assign those items to people on your team, trade partners, vendors, that sort of thing. Get notifications, add checklists to each one of these, on and on. So it's a pretty powerful tool to use. What again, either externally or internally in the company, and we primarily use it for remodeling schedules. Anytime we create a new project, we import this template and then we just fine tune and customize it. Even on new construction, which we only have one custom new home being built, and we even use it there. So those are the two big in JobTread ones that we use that are sort of like task to do related. The other one that we use is purchase orders, and we work off of a purchase order system, and that we have used it since day one. I'm gonna just go to the questions tab because that cat is really distracting to me. I'm gonna throw off of that. We use the purchase order system in here because we're already creating a budget. We're already creating all these things in the system. And it makes sense for us to be able to create a check and balance. I'm going to go ahead and go to it. It may be really basic for me to share this, but I'm going to go ahead and share it anyhow because there may be people here who just haven't seen it. Bear with me one second. I'm going to go back over here and just share kind of like what that looks like. So if I go over here to any one of my jobs, let's say I'm on the jobs list and I go over to this one and I go to documents and I go to my vendor orders. If you haven't ever seen this, and the reason that this is in my content for this presentation is because of how this has helped us create so much check and balance and prevent slippage. And if you're not familiar with the term slippage, it's just the money that slipped out the door because either it didn't get accounted for in estimating or it didn't get accounted for in the project management. Maybe we missed something and we had to eat it. Or the worst kind of slippage in my mind is when we got overbilled by a trade partner and we had no way of knowing that they overbilled us and we paid them for something. So an example of that, an early one for me would be, let's say this masonry purchase order. We've got some terms and conditions that live in our document template for purchase orders here. That lives on every one of them. It's basically a little disclaimer. And we do have a trade partner agreement that covers our relationship with this trade partner outside of these individual purchase orders. So this individual purchase order is sort of in addition to our standard trade partner agreement. But it's basically telling the trade partner, okay, hey, for this job at this address, you've been authorized to complete this work. And we don't send this to the trade partner until we know we've gotten a signed contract from our customer and we've been paid a deposit at a minimum if we're not in the middle of, billing the job. But we put a few conditions on here. For example, trade partner accepting this means that they've reviewed the set of plans, including any architectural drawings, cabinet drawings, engineer, yada, yada, that the trade partner has reviewed all the existing conditions of the home and accounted for code-related updates, blah, blah, blah. And then the trade partner agrees to communicate to us with any items related to their work that are necessary for the scope's completion, but not included in their budget. So every time they get a PO for this, they're agreeing to it. And of course, a lot of that's conversational, but we've got to make sure we cover our P's and Q's here. But the point is, when the project is sold, we send this purchase order over to our mason and they sign that and it's stamped and dated. And what happens is our bookkeeper, who is awesome by the way, and we found them thanks to the JobTread marketplace. We work with Moose Creek Bookkeeping. They're great. And basically our trade partners send their invoices in to a dedicated email address that our bookkeeper gets. And our bookkeeper, because this purchase order number right here, 61-26, of course, in this case, that PO is on the trade partner's invoice. And now we've been doing this for so long that it's not an issue. There is a little bit of a learning curve at the beginning, but we're in a good flow now and everybody respects the system and it works really well. They get the benefit of knowing, hey, when Carlos signed this, he knows he's getting $45,380 for this job. He has a legal contract with us that says he's getting paid. It wasn't just a text message. It wasn't a phone call that said, hey, like we're good to go on that job. Can you start next week kind of thing. We've all been guilty of that. But this kind of formalizes the agreement. And so when Carlos knows that he's getting that money because we have a legal agreement and because in our trade partner agreement, we're going to pay this bill as long as he puts the PO number on his invoice, my bookkeeper is going to enter that bill here in JobTread. It's going to come through. And this is my next thing that I'll share with you guys that we're using outside of JobTread. And I did have permission before the Connect conference to share the outside of JobTread content. We use a system called Adaptive to pay all of our bills and for our expense management. And Carlos knows that as long as he puts the PO number on there and the project manager approves the bill, that he's getting paid and it's going direct deposit to his account. So, and Carlos likes that a lot. So that would be the next thing I would share with you guys is our use of Adaptive. And this is basically a system where we can manage all of our expenses. And by the way, we're a company that does not have charge accounts, and that's by design. We use credit cards to pay for everything. I like accumulating travel mile points. We're in Charlotte, so I like accumulating American Airlines miles so we can pay for flights and things for, JobTread Connect and, JLC Live or IBS and that sort of thing. I'm sure I could be getting 2% cash back and then getting taxed on that, but I'd rather just get the miles and enjoy traveling. But everything is on a credit card. So every individual transaction comes through here through Adaptive. And by the way, Adaptive is an expense management and bill pay tool for the building industry. So they speak our language. They understand the nuances and the approval flows and all that stuff, which is what I love about them. And I met these guys at JLC Live a couple of years ago. We manage all of our bills and expenses here. So all of our credit card receipts are all logged into here. I can filter these receipts based on which user, a date range, a vendor, what cost code, and all this sort of thing. And this gets pushed to QuickBooks. And we can set up our own approval flows through this. So if I want all Home Depot purchases to be filtered through me for final approval and pushed to QuickBooks, I mean, that's a terrible example. I would never do that. But if I wanted to, it's very easy to go in the settings and Adaptive and set that up. And the images for the receipts will push over to QuickBooks Online, which will also push over to JobTread. And I know that JobTread has some capability for expense capture, but we found that because we wanted the approval flow, we're using an outside system for the approval flow. On the bill pay side, this looks like, this week I approve bills every Thursday. So these are the bills also have an approval flow. So our bookkeeper inputs these. They automatically get sent to the project manager who's managing that job for the first line of approval, because I don't want to approve the bill if the PM knows that something's going on the job that would keep us from paying that trade partner. So these are a couple of bills sitting in my inbox this week. I can go in here and I could mass approve these and pay them right from here. There's a little bit more of a process for me to do that, but I could have 25, 30 bills that need to get paid every week. And I can do this here online right there on their website, or I could do this from the Adaptive app on my iPhone sitting at the beach. And I've done that numerous times and pay bills. it sends me a text verification to verify that I'm the person requesting the payment be made, and the payment goes out. And it's all each payment that we make to each of these vendors gets a line item debit out of our account and gets matched up in QuickBooks Online, and that information gets matched up in JobTread. So it's really seamless, and we love it for that. It works very well. The last thing that I had on my slideshow to share was about Loom, which again is outside of JobTread, but I was trying to create some systemization and training. And so I have a big personal library. I have two libraries, and this is just my main library where I can go and make videos about anything in the company. We've made videos for customers to see. We've made videos to train employees about things in JobTread. We've made videos about anything. We've made some about field related things where I'm on the Loom app on my iPhone, sharing a video about something on a job site. And here I am with my favorite customer success manager, Michael Villarreal. And I don't know if you guys have Michael as your CSM, but he's amazing. And we've done many trainings with him. So thanks for the support from JobTread. But I'm scrolling down here and there's like dozens of videos. You don't need to see my mug there. But Loom has been a powerful tool. If you have new employees and you want to onboard them, but you find yourself having to explain how to do something to either more people or the same person, I find that it's much easier to create a video library and upload and send that link or share that link to my employees so that they can just watch the video, the screen record, kind of like what we're doing here today, and get the full rundown of everything they need to do. And they can watch it in 2 or 7 times speed or whatever they want to do and get all the information they need to know. So Loom has been a very powerful and a very affordable. It's a few $100s a year. And I don't recall how many seats that gets us, but we have 6 employees. And so it's been a very worthwhile exercise for us to use that. And employees love it because they're not waiting on me to answer their questions or get more training. So that is my shameless plug for Adaptive and for Loom. But outside of that, let me see. Let me go back to, I don't think we had anything left in the PowerPoint. I don't want to cut it short. Normally this is interactive, real time, and so things kind of get slowed down through the process. But
Yeah, well, hey,
really, that's it from the slideshow, and the meat and potatoes are just what I wanted to share with you guys.
I did have, so there is one question, and you guys make sure that you pop your questions over there in the Q&A, and then we'll kind of work through them. But we did have somebody immediately asking about the remodel process to-dos that you shared at the very
Yeah.
beginning, because I
Mhm.
think that was maybe a part whenever whenever you didn't realize you weren't sharing your screen, but I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I actually
Sorry
want
about
to
that.
see the guts of it, if you don't mind.
Yeah, not at all. Now that I know how to drive this bus. All right, let's see. I'm gonna go back to my to-dos. Oh, I lied. This is one thing. I'm gonna come right back to that to-dos thing. This is just a checklist. This is more like if you guys run into this, this actually is in my slideshow there. This is a design decisions worksheet that I created because we were running into problems where a homeowner would defer a decision that needed to be made to their designer or to their architect. And then we would do the thing that the designer told us to do, and then the homeowner didn't like it. And so at the beginning of a job now, we require the customer at our pre-construction meeting fill out, put a check in the box about who's going to decide what um, over the course of the project. And it always, Watershed is never checked. We never decide where we're putting your lights, what's going where. We don't decide any of that stuff. So anyway, that was a hack that we incorporated into our pre-construction process. So that was thrown up there. So there you go. We'll run back over here to my catalog, to-do templates, remodel process to-dos. And yeah, I mean, if there's a way for me to share this as a CSV, and I'm sure that I could just share this as a CSV and export it, and you guys could do whatever you want with it. We could probably do that. If Casey, if
If
you
you
have a
go
way
to
to
the
share that with
Yeah, if
everyone.
you go to the webinar chat, do you see that paper icon in
Yeah,
the
hang tight. Let's see.
right next to the emoji icon?
Of course, here. Hang on. Let's go. Yeah, I mean, I've got the chat window up here. You want me to throw that CSV file in chat?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Let me jot that down so I don't get excited and forget before we leave today. And I'll do it at the very end so you guys stay on because otherwise I'll hop off and it'll be gone forever.
Perfect. Yeah, and you guys make sure you're popping any questions over to there to the Q&A. It looks like we just have two. I've tried to answer a bunch of them as we've gone on. Let me say this while you're doing that. We have people all the time asking about the difference between tasks and to-dos. And so
It's a
let
good
me give
question.
you a 30-second training on tasks and to-dos. Why would we do this in tasks? Why would we do this in to-dos? Typically, the way that we tell people to think about tasks versus to-dos is tasks are something you want to show up on your schedule or your calendar that have three Ds: a date, a duration, so a length of time, and then dependencies. So they are that task could be dependent on another task, right? So the completion of one will delay the start of another. And then to do would be something that's just on like a list tab. I have to do this by this date, or I need to make sure that I do this. Here's a list of things that I need to accomplish, but aren't necessarily job dependent within the run of all of your trades and things like that. So it's just something that needs to be done. But I will say, as I said in the chat, the software is highly flexible, and we know people that utilize tasks and to-dos in very unique ways, not exactly how we designed it. But the analogy I always give is if I buy a pencil, I'm buying it to write with it. But every once in a while, if the back of my head starts to itch, I can scratch it with that pencil. So anyway, my quick 30 seconds on tasks and to-dos.
I
And
saw someone asked if I could share my design decision worksheet. Yes, I can. Just bear with me. I'm looking for it. I created it in Excel and then I just use it as a PDF. And all of my PMs are operating off an iPad with Notability. And so we actually just have the PDF version attached in our to-dos template in the pre-construction kickoff meeting like section so that it's attached in there every time PMs or salesperson doesn't need to go looking for it, that sort of thing. And yeah, that's where it lives. I'm looking for it on my server now. Bear with me. I'm spoiled because it's in actually I could just go into JobTread, download it, and then upload it as attachment. So I'll do that now. Give me a moment. Feel free to ask anything else in the meantime. I hope that's helpful. I'd love to hear if you guys have ways or like if you've thought of ways that you could like use this stuff in a way I haven't mentioned because I'm taking notes too.
yeah, I will say this. Tabitha asked a question about not Tabitha. Tabitha did have a question, but Jeff Delbuono, if I said your name wrong, please forgive me. He was talking about his task list schedule for each project, that he has checklists on each task, and asked if there was a way to link it to tasks in a schedule. No. Essentially, what those are, though, the checklist, the way that we talk about it. So to-dos and tasks might be interchangeable in terms of the vernacular that you're used to using, but checklists within to-dos and tasks are kind of the bones that make up each one. That's the way I describe it. So imagine you have a body that is a task. The bones will be those checklist items, but there's not a way to link it to something else on your schedule. Let's see. All right. Um, Did you wind up showing that one to-do list that you talked about? I know that you're floating around trying to make sure that you get to
Yeah. Which one? Let's see. I mean, I'll just jump back.
let's
Let's go
see,
see.
it
Let me jump back to my
was
JobTread account here.
the remodel, yeah, the remodel process to-dos.
Yeah. Yeah. I threw that in the chat as a
Okay, awesome,
CSV.
awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
At 2:36, I posted it as
Okay, so
a
if you guys
Excel
are,
file.
yep, so if you guys are still looking for that, make sure that you guys check out. Let's see. Bob, I think, was referencing your document that you were looking at earlier, and he asked if you converted Carlos's quote into the PO that you were showing a bit ago.
Yeah. So let's see. This is something that's been interesting for us. I don't know about you guys. That is kind of an answer to the question. We take, we'll say Carlos, right? Well, we take Carlos's quote and we put it into our own language because we find that the trade language is so technical that homeowners don't understand it. And we're writing it in the form so that a homeowner would understand it. That, like, here's what we've included, here's what we've not included. And we're a fixed price builder, by the way. We almost never do cost plus projects. So we try to be very, very thorough on what we're including and other things that we're not including that need to be accounted for. So with that said, we don't use bid requests in JobTread because I think it's difficult for all of our trades to adopt the JobTread way of doing it. When I have a trade who uses Excel to quote jobs, I've got a trade that uses QuickBooks to quote jobs, I've got a trade that uses a Word doc to quote jobs. And for me to get their trade language right, line for line, and them just plug the price in, it all just seems frankly impossible. So they submit their pricing to us. We have an estimator full time. He makes sure that the scope language is, from their quote matches the scope requirements of the job and that things are financially accounted for. We write it up in our way. And then when the job is sold, we're literally taking our language and porting it over to the purchase order, and we attach Carlos's original quote to the purchase order. And that's how we're sending that out, so that we've got our language retained in there, the way that we say it. And then we've also got Carlos's quote attached. So there's a little bit of double coverage. I don't know if that answers the question, but I've tried.
Yeah. No, that's great. Gus asked if can you hold partial pay, et cetera, if the PM identifies issues. Gus, why don't you flesh out the question? I know here, let me go back and see if I can't go back to your original question. He just asked, yeah, can you hold partial pay, et cetera, if issues are identified by the project manager?
We do that in adaptive. I'm not sure. There probably is a way to do that, and all
I think
magical things.
you were looking at adaptive when he asked that question.
Yes, I may have been an adaptive. Yes. So yes, the answer is yes. I mean, you can literally let's say the trade is billing us for $5,000, but we know there's like these few tasks that still need to be done, so we're going to withhold 1,000. At our company, we just asked the project manager to change the dollar amount that we're paying in adaptive, and to put a comment at the bookkeeper like, "Hey, I'm withholding 1,000 until these other things are done. I'll let you know when they're done." And then that the project manager reach out directly to the trade partner and tell them, "Hey, Carlos, Carlos would be the universal term here. I'm withholding $1,000 from that bill until you get these things done. Just want to make sure that you knew." That's just more of a PR, sort of like maintaining good relationship with our trades. We don't want them to get short paid without knowing why, and then them chasing the answer down from the bookkeeper who has no idea what's going on with the construction project itself. So that's kind of our policy on that.
Yeah, good. There was a few comments too. Let me go ahead and make sure that I'm acknowledging those. Christian said he was just here to say how impressed that he was with how you've put everything together. He said he loved it and he hopes to have a system put together like that soon. So big props from
It's
Christian.
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Julia was talking about her to-dos and how they use those as punch lists on each job, anything that moves. Yeah, I think that's great. I think that's a great use case. I know a lot of people have been utilizing to-dos even for like organization specific to do things down to like office tasks, like taking out the trash. You can create to-dos as just something that has to be done, but not necessarily something specific, to a job schedule. And then Ian was talking about how they have their subs upload their invoices to the PO messages so that they all stay in the PO, and the PM is notified to approve or deny it for our bookkeeper. Yeah, that's one of the ways that we teach for you to be able to do this, to like give yourself a placeholder for that invoice whenever your vendor has that invoice for you. Let's see. These guys said they didn't see the Excel file.
Yeah, I think I was sharing that with host and panelists, not everyone. So I just re-uploaded it for
Okay,
everyone.
cool. Yeah, I'm just making my way down to.
Appreciate you guys. Appreciate your patience. Hey, I'm a builder here. I'm not like
Yeah.
I'm a wannabe builder, and I'm an
Yeah.
even worse presenter.
Yeah. Gary was talking about, and I think maybe this was in reference to recording like you did with Loom. He said he's recorded his entire process for a design that they created for a client. They had every task written out by our admin so they could create a system and offload some of the work and ensure that we deliver designs faster with the same or better quality. That's great. Let's see. All right, so he got that document out to you guys, so you guys should have that. Does anybody have any other questions?
I
This is,
see my design decisions checklist went to host and panels, not everybody. So I'm going to
oh
re-upload that
yeah.
now. It's in PDF, but you can literally just recreate that in Excel or whatever
Yeah.
you want
Hey,
to
and you
do
can
with it.
also dump it into ChatGPT and ask it to make it into an Excel file too. That's one of the great things that I've figured out. I had to create a training organization and kind of populate it with a bunch of fake customers so that when I trained, it looked like we'd had past work. I literally populated, I said, give me names and addresses for fake people up to this, and here include these custom fields of data and make up values out of these four options, and it will do it. So if you put in this PDF, it can actually translate it and create a new Excel file for you to be able to manipulate yourself.
That's incredible. Casey, can you do me a favor, I guess, and
Yeah.
check the task template Excel that's there at 244 and Diane just said I'm not able to download these. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or not.
Let's
Seems
see.
like everybody's having problems downloading it. I'm also happy to go put it in the Facebook group chat as well.
I was able to get to it. You have to click to the right of each one of those files. Once you download it, there's three dots to the right of the file. When you click on those three dots, you have three options: open file, show in Finder, or delete. So if you open the file, I just opened it and I'm looking at everything here. You're going to have to import it into JobTread. So it's similar to what you would do if you were importing data like your customers or your vendors. So this could even be something if you're having trouble to reach out to your CSM and they'll help you do that. But it is a pretty, he said you could also, yeah, Nigel suggested putting it on Facebook. Nigel, what's going on, man? Um,
Yep, I'm
one
glad to
thing,
go and post it up on the Facebook
yeah.
group as well.
And what I'll do too is I always post up a post tomorrow or the day after we do these presentations where you'll be able to, you can dump it there as well. So we've had people do that in the past. Nigel, you did ask a question. That was a good question. So workflows are around the corner. Okay. So I won't tell you exactly when, but they are coming soon. And you'll be able to do a lot of things inside of JobTread, things that will, actions that will trigger other actions. Okay. So new customer input, import to-do list to customer account, and reassign the status of that customer to this or whatever. So there's going to be some Zapier like workflow automations you'll be able to do within JobTread that'll be coming. So in case you are curious, that is coming. Yeah, if this, yep, if then this, absolutely. One thing that I do also want to say while you guys are here, as you guys think of any last questions to buzzer beat today's Pro Spotlight, is I'm actually going to populate this into the chat. There's a couple things I did want to tell you about because Dom is joining the Pro Spotlight because he presented at Connect Conference. And if you're curious to hear from people like Dom in person, I've just put the link to JobTread Connect where you can click and register. You can sign up for Connect. If you're already logged into JobTread, it'll just take you into that part of the website and you can sign up as many people in your team as you want to. But you're going to want to check that out. It's a fantastic place to meet people. That was my first week at JobTread, and my ability to get to see some of the people that then I would begin to see throughout the rest of my time here has been pretty awesome. But also, one of the things that I wanted to let you guys know, we still have about 109 people here. I'm going to get this link. Let me see if we've got uh where did it go? I'm going to go find it real quick. Let me go to Facebook. How many of you guys know that we have JobTread Awards? Has anybody heard about the JobTread Awards? Let me know if you guys know anything about the JobTread Awards, because if you haven't, I want to encourage you to go to the link that I'm about to pop into the chat. I think that that is the craziest link I've ever seen. Let me not do that. Let me see if I can go straight to it. Here we go. Yep, it's still a crazy link, but you guys will have it. If you go to that link, then what's going to happen is you're going to have the ability to nominate either yourself or somebody else, another builder like Dom perhaps, for a JobTread award. And those are essentially an opportunity for us to highlight you again because we want to thank you as our users, but also to share with other people some of the things that you're doing that make you stand out. And you'll get $500 cash and a whole sort of marketing package where we do a case study on you, ask you some questions, we'll do some videos. And so it's pretty special. So if you're interested in nominating somebody like Dom or one of your other builders that you know, or even if you just want to submit yourself, that's okay too, guys. That's not a bad thing for you to think, I'm doing good work. And I would love to have myself considered because we'll consider you on your merit and we will give you an opportunity to, yeah, to show everybody what you got. Okay. So does anybody else have any, uh, yeah. Does anybody else have any other questions before we get Dom out of here? This has been great. Dom, I really
Yeah,
appreciate
I
you.
appreciate the great questions and feedback, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the Facebook group. I think, golly, I'm still amazed at how active Eric Fortenberry is in the Facebook group. It's
Yeah,
wild.
that's one of the things that as I first started, I thought, is something wrong? He's Eric's in the Facebook group all the time. And then I just realized, having gotten to know Eric, that Eric just really cares about you guys. He really cares about your businesses. He's not just here hawking software. And I think that's different. So we've had a couple people come over from Builder that were employees of Builder and they have just said, yeah, like we just kept trying to find campaigns and ways of getting people in. And there just was like a lot of disconnection within the organization, but also some disconnection with even the customers. And so the ability that we have as a organization to kind of follow in his lead, I think has really been great because we get a chance to connect with you. Even things like this, Dom, to have you on the spotlight, to give you a chance to share. It's not just for us, it's for the people that are here to be able to learn from what you're doing. And so yeah, if you guys don't have any more questions, man, Dom, I don't want to take up any more of your time. But again, thank you so much for being willing to come back and reshare your pro
Yeah.
spotlight. Thank you, everybody, for attending. We do have some people, it looks like Bibiana, who's also in Charlotte. Yeah, and this is a great
Nice.
thing. This is a great thing too. You guys connect, man. Come, if you guys see each other at localized things, make sure that you guys connect with one another because, again, this community is such a strength of JobTread that we can both learn from one another, but also just connect as people. There's the human element, which I think is pretty fantastic. Keith's in Greensboro. Love.
Nice. Got some Southerners up in here.
Yeah, I'll say this. I feel like out of my think tanks and the trainings, the Carolinas easily represent 30% of everybody that I see in those things. So it could be even higher. I just feel like everybody's from either the Carolinas. We do have a lot more Canadians that have started to pop up, and then we've got some Texans here locally.
Yeah,
So
I heard about it from a fellow member in my Nary chapter, another remodeler. We were chatting about software, and I was complaining about the other about. Well, I can. This is a safe place. I can say Builder Trend in here. You just did. I was complaining about Builder Trend and their changes, and I'm like, "What are you using for software?" I'm like scratching all the rest of the hair off my head, and he's like, "I'm using JobTread." I'm like, "What? Like, what is that?" Anyway, it's been amazing. So I appreciate all the support.
okay. Yeah, man, absolutely. I do see a couple people that were having some issues with the download. So we'll just make sure,
Yeah.
Dom will pop over into the post that we'll put up tomorrow. And then, yeah, if you want to email in there as well, there's some email addresses. But thank you guys so much for joining us for the Pro Spotlight. Dom, thank you again so much for sharing.
You
If you
bet.
guys have any questions, we have created a lot of avenues for you to have your questions answered, like the JobTread Pros Facebook group, like our help desk, which has been updated and renewed. Our YouTube has all updated and new videos, so make sure that you check that out. But then also make sure that you're connecting with other people within the JobTread community, because there's a lot of wisdom out there. There are a lot of people that are great users, but they might not be specifically skilled at one part. And so you don't feel like you don't have something to share. You have plenty to share, and we can all benefit from one another. So thank you guys again so much for joining. Hope to see you guys on one of these in the future. And make sure that you guys are checking out our trainings tab and looking at all of the webinars that we have coming up, because we've got some incredible guests coming up on both Eric's webinars and then here for the Pro Spotlight. So for JobTread, thank you guys so much for joining. We will see you guys in the near future. Dom, again, thanks so much. You want to say anything else before we get out of here?
Nada. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for everything.
All right, fantastic. All
See
right,
ya.
guys, we will see you guys. Have a fantastic rest of your day, rest of your week. Bye, guys.